Welcome to Property Care. Today we are going to discuss about tenant eviction. So what are all the grounds to evict a tenant? So this topic is slightly difficult, situation for owners. One of my customer, so let out to a wrong, tenant. So he is facing, this court work of tenant eviction. So the lot of reasons a owner can evict a tenant. So what are all those reasons and what are all the steps to evict a tenant and what are all the other options other than legal route? So this is the topic which we are going to discuss. So one customer of mine is a owner. He rented out to a tenant. Unfortunately, tenant very reluctant to move out. So he didn't pay the rent for 3-4 months. Then owner was insisting, and he didn't turn up, and he gave a notice to move out. Notice period also expired, and still he didn't move out. So for some reason, very reluctant, to move out. So on such cases, what are all things as a owner can do it? So it is a difficult topic, going to a court and, managing those hearings. Of course, it's a difficult, but some cases like we have to do this. There is no other option. So that is why that is a topic which we are going to discuss today. So what are all the options available to evict a tenant from a flat or a villa, which, owner wrongly given to a tenant? So that is why the tenant screening is so important and before letting out to a tenant. So I have put a separate video for tenant screening and what are all clauses has to be included in an agreement to handle such scenarios. So that is the topic today. Eviction ground and 10 steps to execute an eviction for a tenant. So this is, for residential properties, I'm talking commercial, there will be slight difference. So, but I'm mainly focusing on a residential property, apartment, villa, independent houses. These property categories will come under this. So our target audience are property investors, owners, tenants, NRI, OCI, those properties also here we are renting out to other people. So disclaimer is the idea shared for an information and education purpose only. If you need more detail, you can connect with us. We have lawyers and we can help you. Or if you have any nearby lawyer, if you are comfortable, you can connect with the lawyer also to know more details. So I have put a list of videos for each of this property life cycle, investment, rent, manage, and sale. These are all the videos available, and I'm discussing on the investment avenues, mainly in a real estate. What are all options available for an investing in a real estate? It can be a plot, apartment, villa, commercial land, farmland, and there are certain things like kata differences like A, B, C. Some customers coming here, they don't understand the concept of A, B, E kata and why these katas are issued and why the name is different. So I put this idea also. And there are some tips about the home loan trap, how we can avoid such things like instead of trading time for money, you should trade value for money. So that is the concept more insisting on home loan trap. And there is a playlist called rental. I put series of videos. So these are all the videos I put in. And today I'm discussing 10 steps on tenant eviction. And manage, also I put series of video, and sale also I'll put series of videos. So according to the Rent Control Act 1999, what are all the grounds which is owner can evict a tenant? So the first one is non-payment of the rent. According to the section 21, I'm capturing sections also on each of these grounds so that you can refer it on this section also. Rent non-payment, also one ground. And violation of agreement terms. So whatever mutually agreed between owner and tenant, there should not be any clause violation. If any such clause, an owner can evict a tenant. Eviction is first they'll give a notice. So as per agreement, 1 or 2 months as per agreement, what is the notice period agreed? After that only, still if he is not moving out, then only these evictions are coming into picture. It is not that we give it and tenant move out and there is no issues. We are going as per the agreement. So there is no question of eviction. Only if they deny it after giving the notice, regular notice, 1 month or 2 months, whatever written in agreement, if they are still reluctant to move out, then only these evictions are coming into picture. Property damage. Any tenant made a damage to property and they are reluctant to move out of the property. So on such ground, we can do an eviction process. And illegal activities, drug peddling, it is an illegal activity. And we can evict it. Nuisance or disturbance. This is a general, it's not that any section talking, but it is in general. On this clause also, we can do an eviction. Unauthorized subletting. We are giving to one person and he is letting out to somebody else. And owner's personal use. He can claim that I am coming to stay in the flat. You please move out. End of lease term. So owner not ready to renew those terms so that he can ask the tenant to move out. Breach of maintenance obligations. There are certain smaller property maintenance perspective. Tenant should take it up. For example, there is some, tap leak, some tube light not working. So such things also smaller things, there are some tenant obligations. So if they should be able to maintain some flush, it's not happening. So flush is because of tenant usage, it got some wear and tears, and those things also should be taken care by the tenant. So in case if they breach on that obligation. And occupancy by unauthorized people. So we authorize certain people to stay as a owner and tenant. We know each other and there are somebody else is staying there. It's not that person we have given, he is staying there. So, and if it is such doubts come to the owner, can ask to move out. If still they're reluctant to move out, then there is some issue, then owner can process the eviction. So a sample scenario I'm discussing for a better understanding reasons. So Rohit is a owner. He rented out a flat to a frame as a tenant, and he defaulted 3 months rent. So he is not paid 3 months rent and not moving out despite the owner has given the notice period. See, according to agreement, he wrote 1 month notice, and owner served a notice to move out a flat, within a month, and he has given the time, he is still not moving out. So 3 months rent is due and 1 month notice period also he has not paid. And now his deposit also got exhausted. So he paid, some 1 lakh and the rent is 35,000. So on such a case, and he is not moving out, not paying the rent. So this is the sample scenario I'm taking. And for this, what are all the steps as a owner supposed to do to evict a tenant? So this is an YouTube video. There are certain clauses he should include when he write an agreement to tenant. So these are all the, what are all the clauses should include to, so that owner will be safe on doing the eviction of a tenant. So that video I put it, please watch that for better understanding. And there is a tenant screening. When you choose a tenant, what are all things has to be taken care before giving them a flat or a villa or an independent house, whatever the property. So we should do certain checks, background checks. So what are all those things? I put a separate video. Please watch that for better understanding. So this is the scenario which I discussed earlier. There is a flat getting rented out, and but tenant reluctant to move out. So many reasons. There may be some misunderstanding between owner and tenants, and there may be some comfort on the property. Tenant may be not moving, and some people are still coming with some mindset. I can go own the property. These all are wrong perceptions. As a legal, you should not do it. I suggest, no owner should face such things. And even tenants also should not be able to, claim such things, very reluctant to move out. So many properties available outside. So it's an inconvenience for both of them, unnecessary visiting to court and, hearings. It's a very stressful thing. So I would suggest no owner should face such things, and tenants also should cooperate and understand the, the notice period which we agreed mutually. As soon as the notice period expired, he should move out to some other property. So that is the ideal way of doing this tenant ownership, tenant and owner relationship. So what is the first step when the owner decides to evict the tenant? Review the agreement. There should be an agreement clause on what ground as a owner can evict a tenant. This is what I discussed in a previous slide. There are various grounds on which owner can and evict a tenant according to Rent Control Act, and which is written in a rent agreement. And appoint a lawyer who are already did the similar activities, similar exercise, who did an eviction of other his customers. So we should have that kind of an experienced lawyer to handle your scenario. Ground, identify the eviction ground. There are so many reasons like misusing, illegal usage of the property, also a ground. And here the frame case which we are talking, which is the rent non-payment. On this ground, we are evicting the tenant. Issue a demand notice. So he is 3 months, not paid the rent, and 1 month notice period is given, and still this is 5th month running, he has not paid the rent. So no deposit also exhausted. For example, 35,000 rent, owner may be taken a 1 lakh deposit. So now currently 5th month running, he should be ideally paid 1.5 lakhs, plus as a rent. He has not paid, and 1 lakh deposit also exhausted, and 1 month to painting charge here in Bangalore, we charge. So for that also due. So he should identify what is the outstanding amount to be paid and issue a notice, demand notice. So and so amount is due. And violation, what is the violation? So this should not be happened as per the agreement. So there is a clause violation also, and deadline to the resolution. You should give some deadline, for example, 30 days. You give them and send out the formal notice, so and so due and so clause violation. Kindly consider this and settle the dues. So on after settling, after that deadline expiry, for example, we are giving 30 days, and that also expired. He is not ready to give the due, or he is not ready to move out also. So now there is an eviction notice. So this is coming into picture. State the reason for eviction and provide a notice period. So usually 30 days. Say reason for an eviction is non-payment of the rent, and provide a notice period which is 30 days. This you should serve with the help of lawyer, and send a tenant an eviction notice. So this is demand notice, due, which talks about due, and that also the tenant is defaulting it, and next comes to the eviction notice. So file an eviction petition in the court. I include rental agreement notice, notices served, and any relevant correspondence. So this eviction notice is served to the tenant, and they are still not ready to move out or settle the dues. So that 30 days also over. Now, owner has to file a petition in the rent control court with the help of rent agreement copy, notice served like this, demand notice, eviction notice, any relevant correspondence. Like earlier, if you have done, make sure that everything you write it in a document and send it to them by courier or post or email. Email is not recommended, but still it will not use the email also, writing, and get, if possible, get acknowledgement, a delivery receipt, something like that you should keep with you, and file a petition with the help of lawyer in the rent control court. Attend hearings. This is where the present the evidence, and such as non-payment of the rent, in a rental agreement clause violation, argument will happen in the court, and seek a legal order, legal eviction order. So this is the order is very important to move out the tenant. Just a eviction notice or a filing petition is not sufficient. This is where the owner and tenant will come and sit in front of the judge, and get the and submit the proofs that he has not paid it, and we as a owner, he should justify that the mistake is with the tenant. So with that, judge will issue an eviction order. So with this eviction order, we can move the tenant outside the property. So obtain the eviction order. This is where the court order will favor. Suppose if whatever proof submitted by the owner, it is valid, and and the judge is favoring the owner and issuing the eviction order. Must with that the tenant must vacate the property and settle the dues. This is what I expected from the eviction order. And enforcing the eviction order. So the tenant, if still refuses tenant to move out, we can take help of other authorities like police. We can submit them the eviction order from the court, and everybody has to agree whatever the court says. End of the day, otherwise we are dishonesting the court order. So we can take help from police if required, and they will help to move out the tenant. After moving out the tenant, change the locks, whatever the main door locks, where the other people should not access. Remove the existing locks and change in new locks. And recover. And if still the dues, he may be moved out of the property, but the dues still not settled. Some owners, since these things have happened, and they want that dues also to be recovered. So because smaller amount is okay, but sometimes 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, bigger property rents, the tenant wanted to recover it. So in case if tenant due not settle, he can even file another petition and get that dues recovered from the tenant. And Rohit can file in this case separate suit to recover the dues from the tenant. So this is the overall eviction process and steps. This is how it's supposed to be followed legally in Karnataka. So this is a little complicated route because of the report involvement. What are all the other options available? So discussed in Rent Control Act, this route, takes time to complete the process because tenant and ownership, the relationship not good. On such case, the tenant will delay the hearings. So because of that, it'll delay court proceedings. You don't appear, you may say some health reasons and so many other reasons. So that reason will delay the process. So as a personally, I recommend try to sort out outside the court settlement. So talk to them, try to or mediate with someone and try to solve it. If possible, leverage a high level like MLA, MP, CM level, some influence, with a diplomatic way. I don't want to go in some harsh route. Just try to convince, sit together, try to convince them each other. What is the issue? What is that blocking point? Try to solve it by sitting outside the court. So this is the ideal way to solve this problem. Another one option is the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, 1996. This takes 6 months to 1 year time. No judge will be involved. So tenant and owner can appoint an arbitrator. So they hear these 2 days of problems and come with a solution. So that takes 6 months to 1 year time. So Model Tenancy Act, this is the recent one. Central government is approved, but each state still not approved. So up to 60 days for resolution. This is the faster way of a resolution. And this is still not yet implemented because there are some in Karnataka, it is not yet implemented because there are some clauses like 2 months deposit only tenant owner can take it. So such things is still it is under discussion because in Karnataka case, they expect more than that. So that amendments they are under discussions. So this is not yet implemented. But this also one of the option in coming days, it may get activated. So it can get a faster resolution. More details on that discuss with your lawyer. And I have put a few useful links in the description also. Please go to the link and you can even consult with the lawyer and act what it says, all those things you can understand. So this is how this entire eviction process, because some owners needs this data because no other option. They don't know how to do it. So they already faced some significant loss and some stressed out because of these issues. So they need to know what need to be done. That's why I put this video. So I hope this gives some basic idea about the tenant eviction. So this is our service, what we do, our vision and values, real estate services, property management, and buy, sell, rent services also we do. Franchising the successful business model in South Bangalore, and we are developing SaaS product that we are going to leverage this model into other locations. This is our service catalog, what are all services we do, self-explanatory. More details on that, please connect with us, we can share it. This is a book I'm writing mainly for traveling guys who are NRI, OCIs, they want to invest in India from sitting in a remote location. What are all things need to be taken care? Those things are captured here. So we are looking some business collaborators and partner also on these areas. It is self-explanatory, and I put a separate playlist called business partner. Under this, I clearly explained in a video what is our requirement. Anybody interested on these areas, please connect with us. We can work together. So mainly on franchisee business consultant, social media marketers, high ticket closers, manpower consultants, and hybrid full stack developer, mobile app development. Thank you for watching. And if you have any doubts, questions, please connect with us. And if you like this video, please give thumbs up, subscribe, and click the bell icon and share with friends and family. Those people also may need this help. And if you have any villa rent managements of the property in South Bangalore, you can connect with us. We can help you. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.